All right, people, we're live. I think we're live. We look like we're live. Let me see from the chat if we are live. Don't do an F unless there's an actual reason for an F in the chat. Late. I'm late. I was 2 seconds late because, it took me 2 seconds to hit the go button. Okay, this is going to be an interesting live stream. We're not talking politics or law, although I think we're going to get into definitely some legal stuff and some political stuff, because we're doing a live stream with the CEO of a website company called Rumble.com. And for those of you who don't know what Rumble is, it looks like a YouTube competitor. It looks like it's turning out to be a competitor, a legit, viable competitor to YouTube. Now, full disclosure, I'm not being paid anything. There's no but to that. I have actually been on Rumble. I didn't really fully appreciate it. I've uploaded a video there, 3 videos 5 years ago, a couple of videos in the time in between, and I, like the majority of the people who are now there uploading their content regularly, was redirected there, given what's going on YouTube. Rumble at the time, we're going to get into this, but Rumble, was an alternative to some video licensing agencies that I was using. It was an alternative to YouTube in a sense, just a small Canadian company at the time, and that's basically how I viewed it. But I've got a video on Rumble that has 36. Can we get this in focus here? Let me see here. There. Whatever. It's got 36 million views on Rumble, which I didn't even know, and I made some money from it. It's kind of nice. It was like monetized like it would be on YouTube. So we're going to talk about this because it's an amazing growth that this company has seen over the last 3-4 months, especially. It's great. Chris said he would sit down and we're going to talk about everything. Super chats. I don't think we're going to have a super chat problem this stream. If I miss your super chat, just let me know. I'm going to try to get all the questions in. Let me just close my email so we don't hear that repeatedly. I'm going to try to get all of the questions in the super chat in. I've got some questions that people tweeted me that they want answered. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's bring in Chris and get this thing started. Chris, how you doing?
Pleasure to be on your show today.
Yeah,
on YouTube. I wish it was on Rumble. We don't have live streaming yet, but eventually on Rumble.
We're gonna get there. Let's. So this is a Canadian show today. You guys are based out of Toronto.
Yeah, we're based out of Toronto. We're not entirely Canadian though. We're made up of a lot of U.S. shareholders and Canadian shareholders. So it's a good split. But yeah, we're based in Toronto as well. I think
Okay, people. We're back. Let me just get this off, turn this off. Require your guests to authenticate.
There we go.
Yeah, let me just, I tried to log back in on my phone. Okay, well, that's an actual F. Who's still here?
I'm here.
Okay, sorry, everybody. That was an actual, it seemed to be a power failure. That was not YouTube shutting us down, which would have been timely and funny, but not the case. Nor was it a scheduled sabotage of my own internet to cause drama. Okay, well, that's I'm sweating if anybody can see that. Where were we, Chris? I believe we just started talking.
Yeah, so I was just kind of going through the makeup of Rumble and how we're comprised of shareholders based in the United States and shareholders based here in Canada. So it's a U.S. Canadian operation. I'm based in Toronto. I'll probably find myself in the States in the near future, though.
So one question I was actually wondering is the governing law of Rumble. I presume it depends on which country you're operating in. So you're subject to the terms of the Communications Decency Act in the States.
Well, we have a U.S. corporation, so it's a little complicated. But the U.S. corp is governed by obviously U.S. law, and the Canadian corp is governed by Canadian law.
Okay, so now I guess let's start with the history of Rumble, because like I said, I've been on the platform very inactively, but I used it a while back. I guess start with the history of the company. Then I'm going to we'll discuss some of the stuff about video licensing and the licenses so people understand how it works. And yeah. I want everyone to appreciate this is not an infomercial for Rumble. It might look like it, but whatever. It's this. I think the world now needs to fully appreciate what Rumble is, what it isn't, dispel some of the myths that people are seeing online, and know that there's an alternative.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll get into a little brief history of how I started. I actually started on the internet back when I was a teenager in my parents' basement, the typical, entrepreneur story, building websites out of a basement. And, it was in the video space for quite some time. And, during the eBombs world, you remember those sites, eBombs world?
100%.
Yeah, I had a website during that time. It was really easy to build a website, get into Google search, build a business around it. And then YouTube came along in 2005, kind of destroyed us by 2008. I would say we kind of became all non-existent. Your Daily Motions, your Media Cafes, your eBombs world. Where are they today? They're not anywhere anymore. So what happened is Google bought YouTube, created this gigantic company where YouTube is embedded entirely into the Google search. Little guys like us couldn't compete anymore, and kind of pushed us aside. And it wasn't until 2013 where I said, there's a real opportunity out here, and there's a real moment where we can get back into video and really help creators and build a platform that's going to do something. In 2013, I hit the street, tried to raise money. Everybody laughed at me. I wanted to build a YouTube competitor. Everyone was like, that is crazy. There's no way you can do that. That's too ambitious. And the way I saw it, it's definitely ambitious, no doubt. And it was definitely a lofty goal, but there was a real thing happening on the internet where the little guy was starting to get censored. If you remember circa 2008, 2007, the biggest video on YouTube was Charlie Bit My Finger. It was a viral video made at home by a family, and that was on the front page. And that's kind of what really made YouTube in the early days and really gave them, a huge presence online and brought in all the users that you see today. Was anyone could make it on YouTube. And by 2013, that kind of disappeared. No one could make it on YouTube anymore. If you were a small creator, you didn't have a shot anymore. It was all about authoritative names and authoritative companies that were getting exposure on YouTube. And the little guy just got completely left behind. And we built this company based on that little guy getting left behind on YouTube and try to create an environment and a business that can really help that little creator. And that, kind of brings back to your story where you came on I don't know if it was 3, 4, 5 years ago, but you came on quite some time ago and had a viral video, and we helped to do whatever we could on our platform to try to monetize and get that distribution and monetization for that video, being that you're a small creator at that time for a viral video. Whereas if you just put it on YouTube, good luck, unless you have a channel.
And it's amazing for anybody who is not old enough to remember. eBaum's World was like one of the original places where they would buy a video from you, or they would give you the rights to license it on the site. And you get paid $400 for a funny video. They would own the content. They would put it up on their site, and they would generate traffic that way. What was the other one? There was College Humor, which did the same thing. And that was back in the day when people made content. It could either get bought outright by a website who would own it forever. You'd never have any rights to it ever again. Or you could take your chance on having them license it. Then YouTube came along where videos would go viral organically. There was no, tinkering with the system. There was no killing certain videos if they were, expressing a message you didn't like. Videos could go viral. They could go viral even as late as 2014, 2015. You saw my squirrel video on YouTube. That was still back in the day where things could go viral on their own. Now, good luck with anything. There's too much content and there's too much suppression. And so I discovered Rumble when I was discovering these video licensing agencies, Newsflare, Storyful, Viral Hog, all of these licensing agencies. And then I saw Rumble, which was a sort of a standalone platform that could acquire the rights or license the video itself. And the only reason why I didn't use it more often really was I had my stuff on YouTube already, and I was using these other licensing agencies. So to sort of like you were competing with Newsflare, Storyful, these other licensing agencies, and it was just a question of sharing them around. You have the monetization on the platform, but you also have third-party what's the word I'm looking for? Third-party clients to whom you license these videos out.
Yeah, and that's really important to understand the Rumble story. So when we started in 2013, and we noticed by 2014 we couldn't get any of our content, in Google search whatsoever, or get any distribution on it just by being a platform. We had to kind of pivot in the sense we had to really start thinking about how we're going to distribute this content for the creator and make sure that they're going to make some money, because we weren't able to place ourselves in search. And when you think about it, like, what happened there? Google just places YouTube for everything in their search. So they kind of eliminated all these companies like eBaum's World and College Humor and Daily Motion from their search and just preferenced YouTube. So, we had to come up with a model to survive and be a real business that can compete back in 2013, 2014, and without being in the search. So that's what we did. We found places where distribution did survive, on MSN, on Yahoo, clearly on YouTube, and various other places to kind of put that content and really generate a revenue for the creator by striking partnerships with all these companies and kind of distributing it. And that was the model that allowed us to survive for the last 7 years that we've been in business. And then you kind of fast forward to 2018, and something really big kind of happened on the internet. You started seeing YouTube start cracking down on YouTube channels, started cracking down on things that weren't in their policy 10 years ago, but are now in their policy today. And fast forward to 2020, and you're not just seeing YouTube do this. You're talking about the president of the United States getting censored now. So it's on a whole different level. It's no longer the little creator that's been, it's the little creator that's been suffering the longest and been censored the longest. But now the sunlight has come on. And now you're seeing politicians being censored. You're seeing significant influencers being censored. And for all kinds of different reasons, whether you like them or not, they're getting censored. And that's not what happened 10 years ago. So that's what's allowed Rumble to now take that next step in this on the internet, where now you're starting to see an enormous amount of distribution happen on Rumble without being in search still. We're still not in Google search in any reasonable capacity. But we have a lot of really loyal users now on the platform, and there's a lot of traffic now on the platform. The growth has been enormous, especially in the last 6 months. And it's been something, maybe it was too early in 2014, and it was only a few people that understood that the little creators were kind of getting really screwed back in 2013 and 2014. But now that some big influencers are getting knocked off, it's really brought the sunlight on and has really created an opportunity. And maybe, I'm glad I started in 2013, just maybe a little early for the market. But right now, it's definitely the right time. And we're seeing it, and we're seeing enormous growth. And it's really just because the creators already know they don't have a shot on YouTube. It's now the big influencers that are starting to realize that. And that's like, as they come on board onto Rumble, they're bringing in the small creators, and we'll continue to focus on those small creators, because that's our core mission. That's our core value, is to make sure that everybody gets fair distribution, fair monetization, and not get censored. And when I mean censored, I mean like not showing up in feeds, not showing up in suggested videos, choosing who wants to go there, choosing who wants to be in there. That's censorship too. And, it makes me upset, because a lot of people talk about echo chambers, this and that. And there's, if everybody on one side goes to Rumble, you become an echo chamber. But really, the real echo chamber is when you censor people. It's when you pretend that they're getting they're going to get distribution when they're not actually going to get it. That's a real echo chamber.
Well, it's even worse than an echo chamber, because it's an echo chamber sort of disguised like a free market, where they say, yeah, oh yeah. And there's no censorship, there's no politicization of the videos or the algorithm, when we know that there is. And then you end up seeing results which are themselves totally fabricated. You see that you don't see the suppression, you don't see the videos that get removed, you don't see the channels that get banned, like the girl there, the young girl, the 13-year-old girl, her name was Soph. I mean, 1 million subs, poof, overnight. Sargon that may not get banned, gets demonetized, has his visibility minimized. And you think it's a free market, but it's not. And it's the most insidious echo chamber. But and so everybody appreciates this. On Rumble now, you can still upload your cat videos, because it was like an E-Bombs World type thing, where you upload cute videos. They might get licensed to whomever, MSN, third party, purchasers who want to make a blog on a cute video. You still do that. You did pretty well with the swing trick, where I went under the swing. I know I saw it on a variety of other places. So you make money for creators like that. But now with 2018 and especially 2020, it has become a platform not for cute cat videos anymore, but for dedicated content creators who are being stifled elsewhere.
Absolutely. And we're like I said, and I always say, we're always open to everyone, and we're never going to suppress, whether you're on the left or whether you're very political or less political, or you love cats and dogs. Like I said many times, our politics are cats and dogs when we started, and they still are. Our front page, the biggest spot on our front page, will be dedicated to the little creator, not the big influencer. As long as I'm around, that's what I'll focus on. I want to make sure that all good content gets the right placement and gets the fair shot, and is not being censored or throttled in any way because I only want one, narrative to be put out, or I only want one. Like, it's what I believe. It's not about what I believe. On Rumble, you create your home. It's your place. We want it to be like your home. It's your private property in a sense, and we don't want to get involved in how you style your home. That's your job. We don't want to get involved in fact checking. That's your job. You do whatever you want. That's your house. You're allowed to have opinions in your home. You're allowed to have your opinions on at your home on Rumble as well.
All right, now Chris, Dapper Dave says, okay, Chris, when are you going to get an IPO for your company? We'll see. But there was a question here that I wanted to bring up, which said, will you ever add ad revenue for creators? So first things first, we're going to get there, but there is, which is why Rumble is the better platform to the alternatives. It is monetized for creators. But before we get there, there was one thing I wanted to ask. It had to do with, now I forgot the question. It'll come back. Monetization on Rumble. Everybody says go to BitChute. There's Ultron, which has its own method of monetizing. BitChute doesn't. It's just a backup. How does monetization work on Rumble for content?
So monetization is one of the things that we offer that I believe no other video platform offers except for YouTube. So that's definitely a major competitive advantage for us. Obviously, with the huge influx of content that's coming into our platform, we're having a tough time keeping up with getting everybody monetized. So basically how it works is that, if your content meets certain criteria, it's really important to distinguish the difference between monetized content and being able to use our content use our platform to be an open platform so that you're not censored. So when it comes to bringing your content onto Rumble, it's live all the time. As long as you follow our terms and conditions, your content is live. When it says analyzing, that doesn't mean your content is not live. That content is shareable. Anybody can watch it. You can share it to your friends. You can share it to your family. It's live. The content is completely live. It's not censored, and it's ready to go. The analyzing portion only specifically talks about advertisers. And at that point, we're just waiting to see if there's any advertisers that would be willing to advertise on the content. And we're kind of limited on that front. So we're going to have to really expand on that. That's a major focus for myself in 2021 and for the company, is to build a real, strong monetization platform. It was really easy when we only had 50 to 100 viral videos coming up on our site a day. It's a much different thing when we have tens of thousands of uploads now, and we're a little behind on that. And I apologize to the creators for that. That's something that I'm working very hard on, and I will get there. I'll get our platform up to speed on the monetization.
And that's actually one of the other questions I had. How many creators now on the channel, if you know, and how many videos uploaded daily, if you know?
Okay, so this is interesting, because one of the biggest things and the hardest things to do on a video platform is the ingestion of video, having thousands and thousands of videos come onto our platform and then re-encoding those videos to, 240, 480, 1080p, 4K, etc. Our platform actually supports 4K. As contrary to what a lot of people might think, we actually do support 4K. Right now, we have limited the 4K encoding because of the massive influx that's happening onto our platform. It's a major investment. It's a lot of hardware, and it's a lot of work to keep up with the encoding. We're at a point right now where you can't even upload a video from your app, and that is intentional because of the amount of growth that we're going through on the uploads and the amount of investment needed in order to basically maintain that. So that's going to come in early 2021, where it'll be a lot easier to upload. Right now, it's just basically desktop uploads, and we're really focused on making sure that you can start uploading from the app in 2021 and allowing that to grow. But we're capping our uploads by making it a little bit more difficult to upload. And the growth that we've seen on uploads right now over the last 3 months is close to about 1,000%. And just in the last week, it's been 100% growth week over week. So,
and I imagine also it's not just growth week over week in terms of numbers of videos, but also in duration of the videos, because the type of content you're hosting.
That's such a good point, because we weren't ready for that. We're getting uploads that are 2 hours. So those 2 hours, to encode a video that's 2 hours in 4K and 1080p and 720, it's crazy how much resources you need to do that and how much money you need to do that. So we're really kind of threading a needle here, making sure that everyone can upload on the desktop and upload alone just on the desktop. But it would be, the growth on the uploads would be out of control if we enabled it in the app right now. So that's something we're scared to do. We can't wait to do it, but we're also scared because we've seen a lot of other growing companies in the last couple of months go down for weekends at a time, right? So we're trying to really just make sure that we don't go down, and we're providing a service that works for everybody. And uploads is obviously one of those things that we're going to definitely have to improve and invest a lot on.
No, but not to blow your cover, but there is a way to upload from your phone.
Yeah, through a different app, and it's quite hard because sometimes you can't log in, and we get a lot of complaints about that. And we're like, we're not going to fix that right now.
I found another way. I'm not even going to tell my secret. It involves the website. So what I wanted to say earlier that I forgot is the pigeonholing, and I see it from some either joke troll comments or genuine troll comments. The pigeonholing that you're going to get right now because of the type of traffic you're getting of people who are disgruntled with YouTube, Twitter to a lesser extent, moving over. Back in the day, Reddit had a competitor brother, and immediately got every time Reddit had a censorship scandal, people would flock away. The competitor website always got branded the same way I suspect Rumble is getting branded now. There was a website that competed with Imager for picture hosting, got branded the same way. The inevitable thing that invariably happens, and this is going to come to the scale in your infrastructure, inevitably they get attacked with improper uploads. I don't know what the word is, these army attacks where they try to overload the system, but it's mostly the inappropriate content uploads to try to bring down the website, get law enforcement involved, or get some sort of statutory infraction going on. I mean, how do you deal with that? Have you seen it yet? And what's the plan? I mean, what is the infrastructure that you have to actually not fall victim to those types of malicious attacks?
Yeah, no, this is a great thing, and one of the things that we've seen that's curtailed that a lot is by adding, when you want to upload a video, we require a phone verification and a phone authentication. So that's been very helpful at curtailing that. And contrary to what you hear in the media and what you hear in the narrative, we don't see that much. Like there isn't that much horrible content, and when it comes, our community reports that, and it's taken down immediately. So there really isn't that much. And to be honest, when it does come up, the IPs that it comes up from are not in America. This is like, I'm suspicious of what's really happening out there. I don't think it's as large of a problem as people make it out to be. Obviously, it's a problem, and you want to make sure there's no illegal content on your platform whatsoever. And we absolutely do not allow any illegal content on our platform. And when it does come up, it's taken down immediately. And our community is very, very reactive to that, and we'll definitely report it immediately when it does happen. So that the community matters a lot. And to be honest, the community that we have on Rumble is quite a great community. It's they don't want to see that stuff. They're not interested in having illegal content on the platform. They want it taken down. Then they're out there helping and policing and making sure it doesn't happen. And that's why you haven't seen that much on Rumble. And you're not getting that. And when it does come, we're quick to remove it immediately.
All right, and SpongeBob, which I think is SpongeBob, says, how is Rumble working to bring on more diverse creator base? I just created an account and I see a lot of accounts that lean conservative, so I wouldn't want the app to be dismissed as right-wing platform. Well, here's the dynamic as to how it works in real life. They will get Rumble, and Chris, I'm not telling anything you don't know, will get branded as right-wing, alt-right, far-right extremism. They'll get branded as racist, as bigoted, xenophobic, and whatever, because you're going to have the big guys like Dan Bongino, Devin Nunes, Dr. Shiv, I forget his name. You're going to have a lot of people who were already branded that way on the mainstream media platforms who are now going there. And that's just the reflexive demonizing of competitors that you're going to see. The thing is to stick it out for long enough and attract a more diverse crowd, because even people on the traditional left on Facebook and YouTube are now seeing the censorship and how it's going to impact them. They think they're in bed with a friend, but they're actually just, I won't use any inflammatory comparisons, but sleeping with dogs, you'll get ticks. And they're going to realize it, and they are realizing it. And I suspect they're going to come over more and more, but no, it will get branded far-right extremism. That's just how it works. The question is, Chris, on your side, how do you not get blacklisted from Google searches? How do you not get booted from the App Store? How do you not get booted from the mainstream access to allow you to continue as a competitor?
Well, one, we don't really depend on Google search, as I've outlined previously, so that's not going to hurt us at all. We're completely dependent without that. In terms of like getting banned in the App Store, you gotta have you gotta have content that's like very illegal, and you have to have a policy that allows illegal content. We don't allow that, so you're not going to see any illegal content on our platform. And if there is anything on there, and once we're notified, we're taking it down. So in the respect of like YouTube, in respect to all other platforms like Facebook, they have an obligation to remove illegal content just as we do, and that's been their policy for the last 15 years. And that's our policy today. Illegal content is just not allowed on our platform whatsoever. We have no interest in allowing that, and we never will allow that. And we'll have that's just a zero tolerance policy. That user will be banned, that content will be removed, and it'll be gone right away. What's happened now in 2020 is that they're not talking about illegal content anymore. They're censoring political discussion, debate, opinions. And that's what I think like our community doesn't want to see anymore. Like that's why they're coming to Rumble. That's not right wing or left wing. Those are things that different countries have done throughout history that no one wants to see in a free country. Like that's a completely different topic. And like in 2020, that's what's happening, and that's why you're seeing people come to Rumble. It's not about illegal content or content that's terrorism. We don't allow that. That's never going to be on Rumble. The conversation now is like, are people getting censored for their opinions? And that's what's happening. Heck, they were getting censored for their dog videos in 2013 because they weren't authoritative names. This is what we're really fighting against. This is what we're really up against. I'm not worried about, if Google's going to ban more and more people for political opinions and debate and just opinions in general about health. Like, isn't science a debatable subject? Isn't that how science grows? Isn't that what you need in science? You need to try to defend it. That's the purpose of science. I remember Newton having a theory and Einstein came along and changed it. Like, that's what happens in science. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, this is wrong. So Rumble is not here to be an arbiter of truth. We're not going to stand for illegal content. You don't even try to come to our platform and do that, because you'll be removed immediately. But when it comes to opinions in scientific debate, in political discussion, Rumble's your home. Do whatever you want on that front.
It's amazing, because even this discussion will be viewed by some and characterized by some as being extremist discussion. How can certain things are not up for discussion? The elections were totally clean as a whistle. Certain scientific questions cannot be debated anymore. It's, if you do it, you actually get kicked off of YouTube. And incidentally, which brings us to the news of the day, YouTube announcing a new policy that as of today, they're going to be deleting videos that suggest or promote the idea that there was any widespread, I'm not even going to use the word because I don't want another power failure, irregularities. This is on YouTube, the biggest search engine in the world, which is owned, the biggest video hosting platform in the world, which is owned by the biggest search engine in the world, now basically saying we're going to delete discussion on certain issues, much in the same way Google operates in China, or much in the same way you can't find information on Tiananmen Square in certain countries. So I love the philosophy. I just think the philosophy is the one that gets demonized. And Watario Vid says, follow up on my last guy at Chris. Have you considered doing an AMA on TD.win? I don't know what that is. You could get a lot of attention, especially today after today's events, that being YouTube's new policy. I guess the idea that everyone has to, in order to upload, has to put in a cell number is going to really eliminate the risk of any, I think the word was DDoS attacks or malicious content attacks. The issue is if they can penalize you, or Rumble, I should say, in the same way they've penalized other creators on YouTube, deplatform them from all of the main platforms. I don't want to name names, but other people have been deplatformed, not just from YouTube, and Google have been depersoned. They've been removed from podcasts, iTunes, the App Store, everything. So, and I don't know that they've been removed for legit reasons or reasons they could not level also against Rumble.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different instances, and like I don't think, because we have all these checks in places. Remember, we're paying people, so people are attaching their name, they're attaching their phone number. It's like a bank account on Rumble. They're earning money. There's when you're hiding behind a username that doesn't have any kind of accountability. You're tending to do things that are a little bit different than what you would do when you know that your name is attached to the account and your phone number is attached to the account. So there's a little bit more accountability now. So I think that is a huge deterrent, like you said, and that's definitely deters a lot of this stuff that no platform wants any of that sort. No society wants that, right? Like, we don't want illegal stuff in society. That's what we're trying to strive not to have. So that's been a huge deterrent for sure. And when it comes to other ones that have been deplatformed, I don't know their specific cases. I don't know the reasons, so I can't really speak of them and know exactly what happened there. There might be something we don't know, but I don't foresee. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. Anything could happen. You're right. Anything could happen.
But you have a good team of lawyers with Rumble. And
we do. We're very strong as a company. We're well funded. We're in a very strong position, both on the financial front and the lawyer front, and we have very our terms and services are there for everybody to see. It's very transparent, and we're very strong on when it comes to that front. We haven't had any problems, and when we do, if we do, we'll deal with them, and we'll deal with them swiftly. I'm not like I said, illegal content or anything of terrorist acts or even adult material. You're not going to find it on Rumble. You can find adult material on Twitter very quickly, but you're not going to find any of that on Rumble. Those are against our policies, and it's not allowed. Instagram and Twitter is full of way more stuff like that than Rumble will ever be. So as far as I'm concerned, we're cleaner. We're cleaner than the ones that claim that they're the cleanest in that sense.
It was actually Howard Stern who revealed to me that there is an underside of Twitter that I never knew existed, and it's beyond what anyone can possibly imagine. And it's there. You just have to know
these attacks on Parler are like crazy because like Twitter is got way worse stuff on there. Why hasn't anybody attacked Twitter for what's been on their platform? Like I couldn't have my son go on Twitter. Like the stuff that's on there is just not suitable.
People don't necessarily appreciate it. There is hard stuff on Twitter, and I only found out. I saw an episode of listening to Howard Stern, and they went to guys see the Twitter handle, stuff I've never imagined was on anywhere, let alone Twitter. This is a good question. How does Rumble define hate speech? Do you have a hate speech policy?
We don't have it's all in our terms. Everything's defined in our terms. I don't want to speak outside of our terms and conditions, but we don't define on the hate speech there. It's all in the terms. It's best to read the terms rather than me try to cite it right now from the top of my head.
Okay. Let's talk about things I'm not criticizing, and there's no criticizing, and there's no but. People are asking for functions. One person said, okay, so live stream function, I guess, I can't even begin to imagine what is required in terms of infrastructure, servers, and bandwidth. How do you go about getting live stream? Is it on the map for Rumble?
Okay, live streaming is it is the most expensive thing for a company like us to basically launch. That is the number one priority. Both monetization across the platform and live streaming are two major priorities for us in 2021. Live streaming is extremely expensive because you're encoding everything on the fly, and that requires a lot of server power, a lot of horsepower on these servers to be encoding things on the fly and streaming it. Bandwidth is not the problem here. It's all about the encoding. That's the big problem. We have the capabilities to do it. We're about 2 weeks away from having the capabilities to fully do it. It's just a matter of being able to sustain the cost associated to it. When you think about live streaming, who has it? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, which is owned by Amazon. It's these big tech companies that have unlimited deep pockets to be able to provide this for you. So it's a cost that they're not worried about. It's a cost that obviously we're worried about. Like I said, we have no venture capital, we have no special interests, we have no large company ownership. We are just friends and family owning this company across the United States and Canada, and trying to build a platform that's based on the principles that all our community likes to see today. And it's a lot more difficult for us to launch live streaming and be able to put that up for everybody to use. But we have a plan. We're going to launch it. We're going to roll it out slowly in 2021, hopefully early 2021. And we're going to see how that goes. And we will definitely have it. The question is how we're going to be able to offer it on a free basis to everyone like our competition does. And
another question I should have asked earlier, everything is reviewed by humans with Rumble, right? It's not like there's AI and there's not. Do you outsource? Is it humans in North America?
Not everything is reviewed by humans. There's certain segment, and a small segment is reviewed by humans, and that's the stuff that's getting distributed to our clientele. So in your case, when you brought a viral video and you wanted it distributed, obviously we have to put our eyes on it and make sure that it's qualified to be distributed on other platforms. But that's the segment of content that is human reviewed on that. And obviously, when we get reports on content, we review that content with humans as well. There is no AI saying this video is high risk, let's put it back over here. We do have a little bit of AI involved in trying to figure out which videos are viral, though, and which videos we need to put human eyes on to look at to distribute. So there is AI there. And that only pertains to the exclusive videos. Most people do not do exclusive videos. Most people use the personal use license or the Rumble only license, and they don't do the exclusive distribution license.
Okay, good segue. Actually, you offer 4 licenses on YouTube for anybody who uploads you want to go through them quickly? Do you know them offhand?
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is a core difference between us and YouTube. So when you're uploading to YouTube, you're giving them a license that's to use your video and display it on YouTube and monetize it. We have a license that's very similar to YouTube's license, and that is the Rumble only license. The personal use license is less aggressive than the Rumble only license. So we kind of offer 4 different licensing options to basically suit the creator's needs. There's a lot of creators out there that don't have the ability to promote their videos. They don't have the ability to distribute it, and they need a lot of help when doing that. And they want to make some additional revenue when doing that. And that's the video management licenses. That's when you're giving the content exclusively. That's when we're human reviewing them to make sure they meet certain needs. And that's when we're distributing it into third-party platforms. That's a license not a lot of creators would like to give away or like to give, unless they feel like, hey, there's no chance that I can make more money on this video unless I give it to Rumble. So that's a decision that we let creators make. So there's video management, which is exclusive. You make the choice. If you don't want that license and you want it to be just like YouTube, then you move over to the Rumble only license. If you don't even want to give a license away where we can monetize it and stuff like that, then you move over to the personal use license. So there's another one. There's a 4th one, which is an exclusive without the ability to claim it on YouTube. The asset, which is it's also exclusive. So the 2 video management licenses are very aggressive, gives us a lot of control and gives us the ability to monetize however we like and distribute however we like. The Rumble only license is very similar to YouTube, and the personal use license is even less aggressive than the YouTube license. So the idea with that is that let's give creators choice, let them choose what they want to do, and allow the creator to have full control in how they want to license their content. Give them options. That's the point of that. That was one of the main differences that we made versus YouTube and our competition.
And I know they are, I don't know if they're technically competitors, but I cannot ignore the super chat. And this was not an ad for Rumble. Ultreon, thank you very much for the super chat. That is quality advertising right there. So, and so as far as it goes for licenses, this is one of the reasons why I am now using Rumble routinely for all of my YouTube content. On the one hand, if it gets removed from YouTube for whatever the reason, I have it on another platform where it's actually susceptible of monetization, unlike BitChute, which is nice for a backup. And it's nice, to view videos, but you can't make money and you can't live. Rephrase. You can't make a living if you can't make money. So it's not good for creators. Rumble, the license I'm using for all of my YouTube content is the same license so that I can monetize on YouTube and I don't have to give that up. And then people don't really understand this also, but when it comes to video licensing, you can give an agency or Rumble the rights to license your video, and then you sort of lose it. You can't do what you want with it anymore, which is fine for a squirrel coming out of a garbage can type video, but not necessarily for some other stuff that you might care to retain ownership over. And so I like the fact that you have 4 different licenses, especially the one that allows me to monetize on YouTube, where I'm still, it's still profitable, and monetize on Rumble. So it's for anybody to appreciate that, you have licensing options, and there's more aggressive ones and more free ones, so to speak.
Exactly.
The CPM, cost per mil, and the monetization on Rumble, how does that work, and how does it compete with YouTube?
Okay, this is where I think we do better, and it has to be done correctly. So I would say, generally speaking, right now we are very competitive with YouTube on the monetization when it's monetized and and the ads are there. So on a cost per 1,000 basis, you're looking at $2 to $3 on Rumble. Now, here's the difference between us and YouTube. YouTube decides how they fill it and when they fill it, whereas we're going to fill it every time. So that you might be able to make more on a cost per 1,000 basis with Rumble. Now, if you have a huge following, this is where we get really, really aggressive. And so it's kind of complicated how the mechanics work. I'll try to explain it. But basically, you can get up to an 80% rev share on Rumble. Typically it's 60% when it's organically watched on Rumble, but it can get up to an 80% rev share if you have a large following and you have a publisher account on Rumble. But that's reserved for people that are able to drive, that have huge like followings on different social media and are able to drive an audience to Rumble. And we'll provide them with an additional rev share to do that. Obviously, we don't get traffic from Google search. So, that's one of our means of kind of offering up a higher rev share to get more traffic onto our platform, which is super helpful to our creator base, because if you get a huge influencer that has a publisher account, or you get a huge media company that's, posting our videos and our viral videos on their site, we'll offer a bigger rev share to them. And that traffic will come, and then you'll show up in suggested videos without being censored, and then you'll get your share out of that too. So I believe we're very competitive when it comes to YouTube. I think we're better, but I think it really depends on the creator, the type of content, and the vertical that you're in. So if it's a good vertical, then it should do well. Like, I think I've seen some videos on the front page, and a lot of creators kind of make their earnings public. But if you go to Rumble, like right now, and you go to the front page, there's 3,600 views on the first one, and it's got $13 on there. So you can kind of calculate how that does compared to YouTube. And if you click on the viral category, on the editor picks category, you can kind of go down. The first one has $13 earned on 3,000 views. The other one didn't do so well, $10 on 12,000. But then there's one with $42 on 13,000.
Is that only for views, or is that for also potential third-party licenses?
That's only on the Rumble platform, those earnings. So that's not showing the third-party earnings. There's additional third-party earnings that are, significantly more than this on top of that the creator is making as well. Like, here's one, 22,000 views, $100. And if you look at some of our top earners on our platform, actually, I'm curious what that looks like. I'm going to go trending all time here and see if we have any public. But I've seen some videos generate well over $10,000, $20,000. I'm just loading up a report on a single viral video. So it's possible to make a significant amount of money on Rumble. Here's one: man tosses a treat at orangutan, made $17,722 on Rumble. Another one, stubborn husky, made $10,754, and that's all public. You can see that. Plus, they made a lot more money on their third-party distribution if they gave us that video management license. And it's also important to note, when you give a video management license, it doesn't mean that you're going to make money like these creators. It has to be a really good video for it to work.
Okay, very cool. Someone was asking, so that's the licensing. People should appreciate that for viral videos type things. For the content, you have different types of licenses depending on what you want to put up in terms of content. We talked about live stream. People were talking about playback stream or playback speed. Apparently, You can only play back at 1x, which is not fun for some.
Also not true. So I'm going to teach everybody how to do this. So in the app, there's obviously, if you have the app, you'll notice that there's a gear icon there that allows you to change your playback speeds in the Rumble app. Additionally, on desktop, if you press Shift, and I always get this wrong, but if you press, I don't know if you can see this keyboard, but if you press Shift and you press these two keys right here, the arrow keys, not these arrow keys over here, but these two arrow keys, just like you would on YouTube, it'll increase your playback speed or decrease your playback speed. So that's always been available. Actually, within the next 24 hours, you should be able to see it in the UI as well. So we'll have it on the web, in the web version, in the UI. But if in the meantime, you can use your keyboard to change the playback speeds by pressing Shift and comma and a period. The left and right brackets, greater than, less than signs.
Okay, excellent. And someone says, none of your business says, I guess that means Viva made over 100,000 for his multi-million view. No, I didn't. I know, I think it was a couple thousand over 5 years, but things were different back then. Okay, playback speed, good. Someone said they will not watch Rumble because it has autoplay, not auto playback, but autoplay on videos. So once you finish watching a video, it automatically plays another. I didn't notice that. Even if I were to notice that, I couldn't give a sweet bugger all. Is that a default feature on Rumble?
Yeah, it is on the web. In the app, it's not. So if you're using the app, you don't get the autoplay. On the web, you do. We've noticed a lot of complaints about that. We're working on that. That's one of the things we'll add a way to turn it off.
Can I ask what would be the problem with that? I mean, other than the noise after and you have to press stop, what's the problem?
I think at the end of the day, you just want to give the creator the choice, right? And we're not giving them the choice, and it's just automatically playing into the next video, and it might not be relevant for them or they want to watch it. So just providing them the option to kind of turn that off is what they're looking for, and I understand that, and we'll add it. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, here's someone says it's annoying. Okay, I guess I have with 3 kids, I have a different standard of annoying. there's noise that you never get to turn off.
Yeah.
Okay, super chats. Any chance that you're going to implement a way to give tips, financially support creators you like through tips or super chats or whatever directly on the site?
Yeah, so we actually have a whole document right now on how we're going to implement that. It's internal. We've been looking at it. We're studying it. I think it's important to have live streaming more so than anything else. So that's something we'll want to launch with after live streaming. But we have something that's going to be similar, not going to be exactly the same, but I think it'll have the same effect and it'll meet the same need for users.
And we got power to Chris Pavlovski. Rumble would not have prematurely insisted the president-elect in our faces. What was what they're doing now, and I'm getting tweets and texts about it on YouTube, it's astonishing. I mean, it's astonishing in that YouTube is going to turn itself into the television, and it's going to be up to a Rumble-like replacement to keep the internet free again. What's next for Rumble in terms of big news?
So right now, this is a huge day. I think this is one of the biggest news days, and it's not even by us. It's by YouTube. They have made a huge, huge change. They keep moving the goalposts. It seems like they're changing their rules every 2 weeks, every month. The goalposts are changing. The bag of goods that they sold all the creators back in 2010 is a completely bag of goods that you have right now on YouTube. So they introduced a new policy this morning, and it has my inbox on fire right now. And it's been one of the craziest mornings we've seen on Rumble in a long time, with new creators that are going to be joining. And you're going to probably hear about that very shortly after this. A whole slew of new creators are coming to Rumble right now, big ones. And what I believe, I'm just going to read their policy that they introduced today that's causing the next big piece of news for Rumble in a sense, is they are, let me grab this.
Well, you do that. I'm going to
don't post content on YouTube. And this is straight from them. Don't post content on YouTube if it fits any of the descriptions noted below. Presidential election integrity. Content that advances false claims that widespread fraud, errors, or glitches change the outcome of any past U.S. presidential election. That's their policy now. That means, as I understand this and as I read this, is that you are not allowed to have an opinion on the presidential election if it doesn't agree to what they think is right. That's what I'm reading right now.
And it's not. It's even more.
From the polls that I've seen, about 70% of Americans feel that there has been issues. So, I don't want to get political. I'm not going to, but that's their policy.
RSBN just got banned on YouTube. They broadcast the rallies.
RSBN got banned right now today. Does that happen?
That's what Theophrastus Returns is saying. I mean, I haven't checked.
They are the ones that broadcast all of the Trump rallies live stream, I believe. They were posting some huge numbers on they're just broadcast like a news network broadcasting a live stream of an event.
Well, I mean, it's it's going to be good news for Rumble to the extent you can deal with this and the influx, and you're going to have some growing pains. I wanted to bring some of the other questions that people had up. Okay, let's see. No, I won't get to them. So you're going to be dealing with a new influx of creators. You're going to be dealing with branding of mainstream media. In terms of a business model, what's next to scale up to deal with this?
So right now we're at a point where it seems like every 2-3 weeks we're having a major wave of customers hitting the platform. To put that in perspective, we've grown 2,600%, and this was me looking at the stats back in early November, shortly after the election. I think about a week after the election, we saw 2,600% growth in streaming over a 3-month period. That's an enormous amount of growth. It's an enormous amount of bandwidth on the platform. It's something we've been really good at maintaining and being able to stay up and stay alive here during all this. So we've done a really good job. Thanks to everyone on the tech side of Rumble. They have done an incredible job at keeping the platform up and running without any very few hiccups. Not many that many people might notice, but very few hiccups. So we're going to have a huge influx today. I can already see it. It's already happening with this news. This is major news. Like this is one of the largest companies on the planet, telling people what they can and can't post on their platform that have nothing to do with illegality or, this is about opinions, about what they think, they want people to talk about. So, and it's been happening for a long time with all these platforms. They've kind of, I don't know, I can't say why it's happening, but definitely maybe some outside pressure, internal pressure, external pressures. And we're not going to ever be like this. We'll never be an arbiter of truth. We're never going to censor political discussion. We're never going to censor your opinions. And we're not going to change our policies every 2 weeks. Like that's not a good business. And I don't think it's a good business. And I think that's, all we need to do is just stick to that and stick to not moving the goalposts on our community, and stick to being consistent and being just a platform, nothing else, allowing everybody. I'm not going to discriminate in who comes on our platform, whether you're a conservative or a Democrat. That's not for me to do. We're a platform. You create your home on Rumble, and we stay out of the way. That's it. We just want to provide you the infrastructure and the service. That's our job, and I want to stick to that.
We got people saying RSBN is still up. Then others are saying it's up in Canada. Whatever, we'll see. None of that is, I bring up chats so that we can discuss it. And for whatever the reason, in the live streams, we always get comments that Sidney Powell's Twitter account has been suspended when it hasn't. A few people have been asking, does Rumble have VC investors, and how do people invest in Rumble? I imagine the answer is no and no.
Right now, well, we have never received venture capital money, private equity money, large company money. It's like I said earlier, this is a company that's the shareholders are all friends and family. And actually, that's probably one of the proudest things, is to be able to achieve what we've achieved without the help. I did ask for the help back in 2014. I did the road show, and everybody thought I was crazy. So glad to be, fast forward 7 years later and be where we are right now. So that's been great. But in 2021, I think you're going to see, we're going to obviously have to do something and be able to support these live streaming services and infrastructure services. And I do want a way where, people can invest in us. I don't know how that's going to look, or, what that's going to look like. But, let's see what happens in 2021. But we're getting a lot of incoming from a lot of people believing in what we're doing, and it's super appreciated. I love that. And, we always want people that, believe in what we believe in. So I want to be aligned with the right people. Is
Louder with Crowder on Rumble?
No, he's not.
I'm going to be sending him my promo code right when we end here. The other question was, so people talk about, services are not free when you have to get advertising. How does Rumble go about putting in ads? Are they targeted ads based on the user's data? How do you go about selecting ads for videos?
So we just use exchanges. It's quite simple. We just plug in the exchanges, and we let these ad networks kind of all bid in there. All the ad networks that are out there kind of bid. There's like 10 of them, and they just bid on the content and on our platform. So how they do that, I can't really discuss that mechanics because I just don't know. But we want to bring that all internally. And we want to have our own ad platform similar to what you see on Facebook and similar to what you see on Snapchat. And we want to really kind of control that. That's going to hopefully be in 2021, and be able to, provide more privacy for our users in that regard, and be able to like really kind of control that a lot more and allow us to make decisions around that.
And I just want to bring up Rebecca Ann. I'm planning to start vlogging in the new year and was going to use YouTube, but they obviously don't want me. So look for my fine artist vlog on Rumble 2021. I say my theory: use YouTube as long as it's around. It's still a source of revenue. I think they're suffocating themselves. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but use it as long as it's around. But Rumble is, for a creator's perspective, it's a viable alternative, and I'm finding it to be a good alternative. So someone had asked me, in terms of getting approved for monetization on Rumble, I don't actually know what I did back in the day. What does someone have to do?
So it's just about, like, monetization is all about the advertisers. Make sure your content fits what advertisers want, and it'll get approved pretty quickly. If it's not what advertisers want, it could take a little longer and maybe not get picked up for ads. So like I said, that's something that's really going slow for us right now. It's one of our issues that we're dealing with internally, and how to get more advertisements in there, and get videos monetized quicker and faster. So that's what I ask for patience to our community as we're growing. That's one of the things that are being affected, and we're really working hard on doing that. I want to go back to the last super chat that you received, the content. One of the things we want to do in 2021 is go after a really diverse amount of content. We really want more fishing videos. We really want more, cooking videos. We want DIY content. We really want to broaden the diversity of content on Rumble. That we see that as a major complaint from a lot of our users. They can't find everything they can find on YouTube. So, we definitely don't want just political content. We want everything. So it's if you have that content, come to Rumble, bring it, build your channel. This is a really good time to be a first mover in bringing in that content and building your audience in Rumble before others do, and being an authority in that in a different category. Obviously we have a lot of viral video content. We have a lot of political content, but where you're going to find success are in those other categories where no one else is in. So, might not find the audience so quickly there, but once they start finding you and people realize that it's also on Rumble, it will build. And we've seen creators now. I think Dan Bongino just passed his subscriber total yesterday on Rumble in 3 months than he has on YouTube. That's crazy when you think about it. Like, that's the question that no one is actually asking. How is it that Devin Nunes comes to Rumble in July on this small, tiny platform, with hardly any AI and good recommendation engines, and puts his content in July, and he's been on YouTube for 4 years, since 2016. In 4 years on YouTube, only has 10,000 subscribers. Comes to Rumble and has 350,000 subscribers in 4 months. That's the big question that needs to be asked. Jim Jordan, same thing, 150,000 plus subscribers in 2 weeks on our platform, and only 40,000 on YouTube. Like, what is it? What's the answer to that? Is the answer that YouTube's smaller than Rumble? No. Do they have?
No, but Chris, is there any possibility? You know how your company works better than others. Some people are going to say bots. They pay. They create fake accounts to follow them.
On Rumble, everything has to be phone verified. That's something that's even more mind-boggling to me. Is I know how Rumble operates, and I know our users, and I know who's watching this stuff. Like, there's comments on these videos. These are real people, and these are real subscribers. They all have phone numbers. These are individual phone numbers. And on top of that, we don't have our app opened up in more than half the world. The app is opened up only in like 20 to 25 countries right now, in predominantly English-speaking countries. So we're not even available in a lot of these countries where, you're going to see a lot of bots and stuff like that. And on top of that, you have to attach it to a phone number to upload, and you have to attach it to a phone number to even comment. To even comment on Rumble, you have to attach it to a phone number. So, like, I don't know. I think that's a bigger hurdle than it is on YouTube. So
no, there's no question. And that answers the question. You have people who are finding Bongino on Rumble, or you have people who are interested in him, who don't see him on YouTube for whatever the reason, and who now can freely see him and follow him on Rumble. It's amazing. And on that question, are certain people allowed on Rumble, Chris?
If they follow, we're not banning anybody on our platform. And the only way you get banned is if you violate our terms and conditions, if you upload illegal material. If it isn't illegal, then you can bring your content on Rumble and you can work on Rumble. And it doesn't matter who you are. We're not discriminating against you as long as your content doesn't violate our terms and conditions. This isn't YouTube. This is Rumble.
Okay. And people are asking this question, and I still don't know how it works because I've got the app. How does the promo code work in terms of rewarding the individual who has a promo code? How do you get one? What are tickets and what are referrals?
Yeah, so the tickets thing, we might do away with that shortly. Let's talk about referrals, though. You can refer users and get a percentage of their revenue that they earn, whoever you refer. The best way to do this is in the app. If you click the referrals button in your app, on the left, in the left menu, I'm just going into my phone right now to make sure I'm saying this correctly. Yeah, there's a referrals button, and then you scroll down to the bottom, there will be a referral URL. You use that, send it to your friends, refer them, and you get a percentage of their revenue. I think it's 5%, but don't quote me on that. But it is. There's actually some creators making some money out doing this by promoting and bringing in some big people.
No, it's the early stages. Like you're getting into Rumble, in YouTube's equivalent in 2005. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see in real time. I've been familiar with the site for a long time, but I'm seeing it and you're living it. It's amazing. Hunter says you need some part-time software engineers. I imagine all job applications can be sent to Rumble.
Yeah, we're hiring. It's just very difficult to hire right now with COVID and stuff like that. It puts a lot of restrictions on meeting people face to face. I like to do things face to face. I come to the office. I'm working out of it. We're going to be hiring quite a bit. And if you're an engineer or if you like what we're doing, and you're aligned with the company, then we'd like to hear from you for sure.
And people want to know if you can go live. We talked about going live on Rumble. What was I about to say about it? Oh, there was another super chat that said going live is it's essential for creators. There are ways to get around it if you're the creator, where you can do a live stream through other means, and then I guess you won't be. I don't know that you can't watch it live on Rumble. You might have to go to other platforms where you can get the link. What else? I took down some questions. Oh, Roku and Apple. People were asking, but then someone said you can find it on Roku. Do you know what they mean?
We have a Roku app. We have an Amazon Fire app, and we have a Google TV, Android TV app. You just search Rumble. It should show up. It's called Rumble. It's very primitive right now. It is actually one of the things we're investing a lot into right as we speak. And there should be a new huge update that will allow you to bring up your channels and your subscriptions in the new year. So that's one thing that we're in the middle of development on that. And it's a top priority for us. Is what we're starting to see is a lot of activity on OTT, a lot. And we're going to be investing heavily in making sure that this is really functional with your TVs. You also have the casting ability in the app. So if you download the app, you can cast it to your TVs quite easily with Google Cast. We're going to have, I think, AirPlay it might now be available. I didn't double check, but it's available this week or next week.
All right. And someone asked a very good question that I wanted to ask as well. How is fair use handled on Rumble versus YouTube? This is another question where I get worried about the platform bearing the brunt of the consequences and not the creator if someone uploads Katy Perry. So how does Rumble deal with it, and is it any different than YouTube?
So I think the law is really defined here, and the copyright laws. I feel like I've been very versed in them in the last 10 years, so I can answer this with some confidence. The way that YouTube developed their platform in 2008 when Google acquired them, as you know, they had huge lawsuits from Viacom at the time for copyright infringement, and they had to deal with that. The way they ended up doing it was they wanted to continue to hide behind the DMCA and continue to hide behind Section 230. So they made the choice to create this whole content ID platform where companies can go into and claim on the assets and take down assets that violated copyrights. Obviously, we're not at the size of YouTube, nor do we have the resources to build such a type of content ID platform at this point in time. Will we get there? Is that the right way to go? I think they did do the right thing at the time. I think now they've kind of like stretched Section 230 to mean all kinds of things, and the DMCA, they're kind of handling that still similarly as they did 10 years ago. But the fair use law is fairly simple. If it's transformative and it's not you know, a direct stolen copy of the work, then you can't steal content and put it up on Rumble and think you're going to make money. We're not going to allow that. That's illegal. So we won't allow that. It violates copyright laws. And one thing we stand for is making sure that everything on the platform is legal. So we're really diligent on protecting the creators' works and the creators' copyrights. So if it's your live stream and your podcast, unless someone does some transformative work that follows under the fair use law, then that's fair game. But if it's not, then no, it's not fair game. Right now, it's coming to our desk to make this choice when we do get a complaint. We're not allowing companies to go in there and use a content ID system to make that choice right now. That might change, but that's something we'll definitely need to examine as we get bigger, and whether that's even possible as we have this many uploads. But at this point right now, we follow the law very diligently. I think we're quite good at copyrights. That's one of the things we excel at more than anybody, and making sure that, like, one of the things that were happening, and one of the reasons why we built this platform, is that a lot of home-based content was being stolen on Facebook and stolen on all these other platforms, going super viral, getting 100 million views, and the creator was making nothing. And it's like, who's getting screwed? The little creators getting screwed when that happens. Like, and that's one thing that we wanted to always bring back, is create a good, nice rights management platform for the little creator to make sure that they earn what they deserve on their video, and no one's going to be able to steal it and scrape it and earn off of them.
No,
look at Snapchat, look at TikTok, look at Facebook, how they started video. No monetization for the creators, the little creators. It's all our content. It's all little creators content. It's all people like me and you submitting short clips. They built a business off it. They make billions on it, and they don't share any of it with the creators that create content. These platforms are built off the backs of little creators, and it's never been shared. And that's why copyright matters, and that's why rights management around copyright matters. But back to fair use, if it's transformative, it's allowed. If it's not, it's not.
People are asking, here we go. Do you need multiple phone numbers if you have multiple channels? First of all, and I'd like to know this for my own benefit, how do you start two channels? One that might be branded law stuff, and then another for random stuff.
Okay, so this is I actually think we did this. It's not perfect, but we did it in a better way than YouTube did it, is creating channels. In your account, you can create multiple different channels within your account. You only need one phone number in one account. Your main account is your user. So think of it as like the parent. And then underneath that are the child accounts, which are the channels. And you can create an unlimited amount of channels within your account. You can add restrictions where people can use it, not use it. We even have the ability to customize the video player if you want and add features to it. You can even bring in your own advertisements on Rumble if you wanted to with your own ad stack. This is something that YouTube doesn't have. It allows us to really allow you to create your home the way you want by customizing the player, bringing in your own advertisements if you want to. Now, obviously, if you go into these feature sets, you have to pay. If you don't use these features, you don't have to pay. But in terms of any creator out there that just wants to create channels, upload content, and monetize it on Rumble, that's always free and always available. But let's say you're a big influencer, you have a big audience, you don't want to have Rumble logo on the player, you want to have your logo on the player, you want to bring in your own advertisements, and you want to block certain sites from using your videos, and you want to create OTT feeds, and you want to create your own Roku channel. We have all those features as well. Those are pay-to-use features, but those are more for enterprise clients and larger clients that might want to build a business out of Rumble. We allow that, something that YouTube doesn't have.
All right, good question from Greg in Houston too. Last time, I think you might have asked it before. What are your policies on what you do with my cell number? Why aren't they posted?
Well, we just added this cell number thing like a month ago. Our policy on that is we don't do anything except verify you at this point in time. And we're going to be making an update to our policies to reflect this in the next, supposed to be done a week ago, but in the next couple of weeks, we're hoping to have that out.
What does verify based on a cell number entail?
It allows you to comment on our videos. We send a text message to your phone. We use a service to do it. And we send a text message to verify. And once you're verified, then you're now allowed to upload and to comment on videos.
Okay, and now we got to ask the question: if you use a service to do it, what does the service? What rights do the service have with the number? What can they do with the number once they have it?
We use like one of the largest companies when it comes to that, Twilio. I'll have to look at that. I can't speak to that right now.
Okay. Someone said reaction videos. Do you allow reaction videos? I presume the answer is yes, to the extent you're not just ripping the entire video.
Yeah, the reaction videos are transformative, assuming it's done right. Yeah.
And ad stack. You mentioned ad stack, so the creators can bring their own ad stacks to their own page. Explain that, because that sounds very interesting.
Yeah, that's something that YouTube doesn't allow. But if you upgrade your account, and it's very difficult to upgrade your account right now. Within the next couple of weeks, it'll be a lot easier to upgrade your account within Rumble. So if it would be difficult to do it today, but if you create an account as a publisher or a business account, you'll have access to these features. And these features basically entail you to bring in your own advertising. If you have your own ad stack, you can bring it in and you can monetize it. And all we do is we charge you on a bandwidth and storage basis.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, and I don't think we need to go much longer because I think we've got everything. But Chris, did I miss anything? I don't think I did.
No, I feel like we the great thing is that you've been on for such a long time, so you kind of know the right questions to ask and get right to it. And
the amazing thing is, I mean, I still use these video licensing agencies for cute videos that have zero chance of going viral on YouTube anymore. But you see them in MSN news feeds. I caught a sunfish with a lamprey on it, and that's going to go nowhere on YouTube, but that's interesting. And it was in a couple of news sites. Apparently, it was not the invasive species of lampreys, and I killed it, but I still think I was entitled to justified in saving the fish. But so Rumble Video does that for anybody who doesn't have branded content, a channel. It's just a place to upload a video and let them try to sell it, let them try to license it. There are competitors. I've just known now Rumble for 5 years. It's Canadian based. Not that gives me any more trust in it. I've just known them for 5 years. But now with the change in politics, this is becoming, possibly, if not definitively, the place to go for people who are getting demonetized or shadow banned from YouTube. Like the Sticks Hexenhammers. I think Tim Pool is there now. It seems like it's going to be the viable alternative to what seems to be the future for YouTube.
Yeah, and one of the things that I want to point out that is great for creators is the growth that you're going to see on Rumble right now. The growth is phenomenal if you have a channel. And I think there's some neat little tricks that we do in our app that allow this, like the Rumble Battle. We didn't really talk about the tickets, but the swiping. This really allows and fuels a lot of the growth for the channels. So if you're a small channel, you have a real shot at getting it. You're always in that battle in our app, and a lot of people are going to see your content. If they like it, they subscribe. So you're able to really kind of grow your channels quite quickly right now on Rumble, and that's why I think you're seeing like a lot of growth out there. And the biggest part to that is that there's no censorship in related videos. We're not running AI in the suggested video column. We're not running AI in our search. This is a basic search, basic suggested videos. It's a chronological feed in your app. There's no censorship, and you're going to get what you subscribe to, and that's creating a huge win for a lot of creators right now. So one of the main reasons is that you're going to be able to grow your channel quicker and faster on Rumble than you are on YouTube. I guarantee that. You put the same effort as you do in YouTube, side by side, you will grow faster on Rumble, no doubt. And I see it over and over and over again.
I mean, I'm just looking at my own numbers. I'm at 30 some odd thousand, 32.7 thousand, but I've only been uploading the YouTube content consistently for about a month. Melvin Hawking says, I have no text messaging. How do I join? And underneath, someone asked the same question. Text feature works for VoIP phones. Yeah,
we're having a huge problem with that. We have to build in a landline verification into Rumble, and that should have been done. I'll double check on that, but that's an urgent thing that I'll double check on for sure.
It's fascinating. Like, nobody appreciates these types of growth questions until you start exploding because of other people's actions that you could not have foreseen. Oh, here, this is one. Dominion is Canadian-based, trustworthy. They were Canadian-based. Now they are headquartered out of the United States. They apparently have satellite offices. And I don't want to talk about that anymore because that might get us shut down. Okay. I mean, I don't think there's anything more that we. I was interested just to have you be able to explain your platform to other people who may not already know about it. I think people now, especially people in certain niches of YouTube, know about it. I don't think you need to throw out the baby with the bathwater, to use the expression. YouTube is still good and it still has a purpose, and you can still try and get by there. But it definitely seems to be morphing itself into something that is not oriented to the independent creators, but rather just going to be taken over by MSM. Is Rumble troll friendly? Yeah, I see you. I see that I see Battle Elf with the troll comments, but it's good. People should know about it. People should check it out. And let's see. I'll give a few more minutes for people to pop in some questions that I didn't ask. YouTube was amazing. Let's see. Just make sure we didn't forget anything. We'll go for another 9 minutes. We said like max an hour and a half, but okay. 4K we've discussed. So 4K is there if you want it, but 4K is useless.
It's not. We're not pushing it. It's not It's there. We have the capability. We've scaled back on it because of the growth. It'll be back in about a month, but it's there. We have the ability to do it. And Rumble's good. I've been promoting it for a month. I've known Rumble as long as I've known Newsflare as a video licensing agency. Storyful. It's good. Well, we have those licensing agencies on Rumble, actually, believe it or not. You got Viral Hog on Rumble. They're a big channel on Rumble, and they do well. And we did have Storyful on our platform. Hopefully they'll come back. But
I'll send them my promo code. I know the folks well at Storyful. Eric Hunley, who incidentally has his own YouTube channel, podcast, and I think now has no, he does. I know he has a Rumble account. Will there be playlists and channel customization?
So channel customization, the question is, what do they mean by channel customization? The adding like different layers, like the featured video, most recent, most popular. Right now, it's all chronological on the channel. You can create your own backsplash. You can create your own title. You can create your own. You put your own thumbnail there. It's kind of similar to YouTube, but maybe not as feature powerful as YouTube on the channel customization.
All right, we got YouTube used to have reply videos. I don't even remember this. Will Rumble have this feature?
I'm going to go back to the first question with playlists.
No, sorry.
If you take a look at our documentation at help.rumble.com, you can create playlists with the player, but not on rumble.com, only on your own website. So there is a playlist functionality if you're using our video player on your website, but not a functionality of that on Rumble to come. And that's a 2021 thing for on rumble.com. The last question was?
The last question was reply videos. YouTube used to have it. Will Rumble have it? I don't remember what reply video function was.
Yeah, I don't know that function that well, so...
Okay, we got Theophrastus return, says YouTube's new policy is shut up. They explained. Let's see here. Can you have a video monetized? Viva Fry. Can you have a video monetized in more than one platform? That's one of the licenses that Rumble allows. Is that my content is monetized when it doesn't get demonetized on YouTube, but I've been very fortunate with that. But it's also monetized on Rumble. My CPM. I'm gonna have to look to see if I'm analyzing my CPM accurately on Rumble. It doesn't. It's not outrageously high.
You might have a publisher account, so make sure you click on combined rather than the publisher setting. There's a publisher and creator, and then there's a combined setting in the dashboard. But you can monetize on. Just select the Rumble only license, and you can monetize everywhere you want.
All right. Okay, so I think that's it. Look, let's wind this up. We did good, Chris. Stick around. We'll say our proper goodbyes, everybody. Now you know, and what a day to have done this, because I'm gonna now go back to my Twitter feed and see. How many? Apparently, YouTube said they're only going to be removing videos as of today going forward.
Yes.
I mean, if they're gonna force people into using code in the way, in historical fascist regimes where people have to speak in code to discuss the unspeakable. I'm gonna have to go see what's going on, because this is going to be highly relevant for my next live stream with Robert Barnes and for my analyses of these lawsuits. How are we going to be able to do that? And yeah, it's so. Amazing, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. You have a great audience. Lots of great questions.
Okay, and that is a good enough way to end it. Everybody, stay tuned for my next vlog. I'm going to criticize a new ad that came out of Quebec telling us all to celebrate Christmas alone. So stay tuned. Everybody, I'll see you soon. Chris, stick around. Peace out.